Welcome to Exploring Fredericton Homes. I'm Chris Turner.
I'm Bailey Lockhart.
And I'm Elisa Brosi. In this episode, we explore the world of Airbnbs.
We start with a construction family that has Airbnb units and a condominium.
Tell me about the appliances. Does the stove really have an air fryer?
It sure does, and people love it. It's got everything you need.
Can you tell us a bit about how you got started?
I work with a company who leases the buildings, and when we started getting into it, I started speaking to some of the tenants, and they had family or friends that wanted to come visit, and I thought, we need a guest suite. So we started off with one, and we flipped it into an Airbnb, and now we're at 3. We're about to open this one up to the public here in about a couple weeks. But it just kind of fell on my lap, to be honest.
Now, do you have plans to kind of continue this with other buildings, or are you looking to have this be sort of your mainstay?
So I like to have the units on the main level just for security, safety reasons. So right now there's 3. I'm hoping to have the first level of this building with Airbnbs in the next 2 years.
And has that affected the other rentals that are inside the property?
Absolutely not. They love it. The tenants love it. They've been using it with their family and friends. And it keeps their friends and family close, but not in their space.
Right. But you've been focused on long-term rentals as well, if I'm correct.
I deal with the insurance companies. They come in for monthly stays, sometimes 2 months. I have a couple here waiting for the market to settle down so they can buy their home here. They're moving home from Ontario. So they've been here, they'll be here for 4.5 months. So it's been a monthly stay here, really. Hence why I need another unit. It's been busy, yeah.
So you have a lineage in the construction industry. So your father kind of started the business, if I'm gathering that correct.
He did.
Can you kind of tell me how that all took place, and then sort of how you became involved with the family business?
He did, yeah. I love to tell this story because it's quite amazing. He came to Canada with $15 in his pocket. He came from a little village in Lebanon called Niha. He couldn't speak English, and he flew to Fredericton, him and his brother, and they set up for their 10 other siblings. They lived in a 2-bedroom house, no basement, across from the airport, and all he had was a work ethic. He was a janitor. He did all the jobs that he could just, so help support his family. He got into construction, and that really was his niche. And so what happened when he met my mother, he was starting his own business, and my mom is a genius behind the books. Like, she's really kept it together on that end, and together they've built this company. It's over 35 years old and has been growing every day since. Growing up with 2 older brothers, they were 14 years old working for my dad in the summertime.
Do they still work for your father?
They still work for my dad, and they have significant positions within the company. My brother Joe is the project manager, and he's the guy behind all of it. And my brother Adam actually is a civil engineer, so he's been able to grow exponentially with he just built the road behind our development, and he's doing wonders. So knowing that being in the office, or I couldn't hammer a nail into the wall, I knew that one day my time would come, and this is it. And with working with properties and tenants and management and all of that, working side by side with Mom, it's been amazing. So this is one of the 2 bedrooms in this unit, this being a queen and the other room being a king.
Is it ever nerve-wracking for you to maybe have the worries that, what if it doesn't rent?
On the Airbnb app, I can see the whole calendar. So if there's a few days or even a few weeks that aren't rented, I always just try to tell myself it's going to rent, it's going to work out, everything's going to work out. But I also think of how can I better these units? How could I make them more appeasing? How can I work on my marketing? But every time I get a notification from Airbnb, I feel almost relieved. I'm like, okay, whatever you're doing is working. Just keep going, stay positive.
So how long in total have you been doing it?
Since December of last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've been at 100% occupancy, so we're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well. Summer's coming up, it's the busiest time. Winter was slow, And I do see a difference in some, like when some people want to rent and they want more of a secure building, they come here. They have multiple rooms that you could stay with multiple different families and still have that privacy, still have a full kitchenette, still have, the living space.
You also mentioned, where you are in a building. Has that been a problem whatsoever for any of the other tenants? Has it been a deterrent for people looking to rent one of the other units, knowing that there's people in and out on the lower level?
No, actually, they love it. They feel great about it because they know that once they have a need for it, that it's literally in their building.
So not being in the core of downtown, being out in the Brookside area, how have you found that's impacted positively or negatively towards your business?
I find this area is really, really booming. It's developing, it's beautiful. It has every amenity that we have: restaurants, grocery stores, gas stations. We have a beautiful golf course across the street. We have that community feel. A lot of people feel really safe here.
Who would your average tenant be?
We've had people from out of town who are moving back to the province and they're looking for a home. 2 kids and a beautiful family. They love it here, and she walks the trails out back, and the kids' school is right down the street, and so it's been really convenient and safe for them in a secure building. So we have people who have had property damage of going through insurance claims and need a place to stay. So it's been long term, and they feel quite at home. So I'm glad we are able to provide that for them.
Maria, because it's a newer building, do you think that offers a lot of features and potentially peace of mind towards the people who are renting from you?
Protecting our tenants and our guests is most important to us. So we have fire alarms, of course, through the building that have been checked by the fire marshal, the sprinkler systems, the security, the locks on the doors. It's very important to us that anyone who's in this building is safe and secure.
So Maria, typically a superhost is somebody who's been highly recommended, who holds a very high status with Airbnb and has received great reviews. How did you earn that status, and how long did it take you?
I earned that status within less than 3 months on the website, on the app, and that's when I remember that morning when I got that email. I just thought, whatever you're doing it right, and keep going and stay positive. But it's been really exciting for me. I love what I'm doing. I love hosting.
We return to exploring Fredericton Homes.
In this part of the episode, we'll meet the 2 people that run the business that remodels and renovates to create the perfect Airbnb units.
Welcome to Mitchell Street.
This area is the kitchen, and we're really excited for it to come through because there was upper cabinets. It was really ugly and old and outdated.
So you guys are in the middle of essentially making this home ready to go on Airbnb, right?
Yes.
What's some of the construction that's happening here?
Well, to start up on this floor, our main entrance out back is going to have all new flooring because it is a very lovely 80s green. So we're going to put that in click vinyl flooring, which I'm very excited about. And downstairs
is a full renovation job. So downstairs began as a leak and as insurance work, and we have added, or in the process of adding, a washer and dryer because it was just a shared washer and dryer here.
Yes.
A washer and dryer. It's going to be a new kitchen, new flooring, new bathroom, new paint, raising the ceilings because we had some drop ceilings where some old ductwork was.
How long have you been doing this for?
Well, we started in 2019,
Okay.
and we have just kept growing and evolving, and now we're working on our 23rd property.
23rd, I think, yeah.
Like, are there any challenges working with another person?
Well, we complement each other.
Yep.
She's more the creative, and she's got the ideas and puts a lot of the plans into motion. And I support that wherever I can, and then I do a lot of the back end work, the numbers, the accounting, and
the spreadsheets.
the boring stuff, the stuff that nobody wants to know about.
So are you planning on making this a single unit or a double unit?
This house is a 2-unit house. There's so one up where we are now and 1 unit downstairs as well. This is 3 bedrooms, 2 levels, and downstairs is a 2-bedroom single level.
Do you do that a lot? Do you try and have multiple apartments in one house?
Not on purpose. Typically now, people are coming to us to ask with property management, so we just, whatever they have is whatever we do. So a lot of them do have 2 units now, but just depends on the property.
So you guys talked a little bit about the superhost status, and you guys are superhosts, is that right?
Superhost status is given to the primary host. So the Jessica is, she was always a superhost before we even started this business. So we kept her as a primary host for all the properties. What that does is generates a higher search engine optimization for when people are looking for Airbnbs. We'll always pop up first.
Well, and then everything's kept under one listing, and everything, all the reviews, they can go in, and then they can also search different properties too.
What are some of the things that you guys offer with your Airbnbs? Do you offer like towels or bedding? What kind of things do you guys offer?
Well, we literally offer almost everything. So from the ground up, we do all the bedding, we do all the kitchen amenities, and if you want to go one step further, we've gotten into yard work, and even so much so that we're going to have to fix the deck here. So we are a mini renovation company, I say now, and thanks to my uncle and lots of other people that have helped us, we have some great trades that we're paired up with, and we're able to completely do literally from the ground up. Because on our first few Airbnbs, we went in ourselves, we did all the painting and we did all the things ourselves. So we're quite handy ourselves. We used to have rental properties of our own, and then, you know, it's paid off to get us going. When we first started, we had part-time cleaners, and we eventually saw that rolling into a full-time business. So I had brought it up a few times. It wasn't the right time. And then a year ago in February, my aunt, who also works with us, we were all in the office, and we said, if we don't do this, because our cleaners were asking for full-time work. And we were like, well, what do we do? Yeah. We open a cleaning business.
Well, it's so hard to accommodate full-time hours in the Airbnb checkout situation. You could have 10 people check out on Monday and nothing for 4 or 5 days, and then one person can't do all 10. So with the amount of Airbnbs that we started to generate, we had to augment the staff that way, but then to give them the full-time hours, that's where we got into the residential and commercial cleanings. So
then we opened up M2 Cleaning Solutions. When my aunt started, we had 5 properties, and then we grew from there. Kind of hired our first person, and it was quite a close-knit. It's trickier, obviously, touching base with them day to day. But we now have home base on Regent Street, so a great office location, and it's great to see the staff come in and out and, you know, check in with them as best we can.
So what are the most common challenges that you guys find with working with Airbnbs?
There's a lot of messages, just that customer service, getting to the messages, the different requests. Can we come in early? Can we stay late?
My toilet's clogged.
Yes, the toilet's clogged, need a plunger. That has happened a few times. Every now and again, you do get damages. Sometimes it's just small stuff. It's just an extra little bit of cleaning. But then we have had a few things where we've had to charge back the guests.
We've been really blessed out of the amount of properties that we've been able to serve. We haven't had that many damages overall. We had to replace almost a brand new TV once, unfortunately. Some blankets, linens, things like that. We have had a couple of instances where guests haven't left. So we both have had to show up, and there was a language barrier, and so that was a bit tricky, but we navigated through that. There's also been struggles with staff, so just trying to communicate the importance of showing up to your job, and this is why we do it, this is why teamwork is so important with M Squared. So between working with the client, starting an Airbnb, you have to talk budget, you have to talk hard numbers. Here it's like, your flooring is not great, or your deck is falling apart, so you have to show up in a professional manner, know your numbers, and it always creates a little bit of back and forth sometimes. But overall, I mean, I've shed tears. But it at the end of the day, you know, overall, it's worth it.
Well, we have a brand we want to protect too. When we started this, we said if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So that goes everything from moving the outside to the lawn when you move up, when you walk into the place, so the walkways, is it put together, is it falling apart, the landscaping, and then you walk in and everything flows well, and the amenities are all here.
It's staying on top of it. Your project managing like daily. So it can be draining, but I mean, at the end of the day, again, it's
busy.
It's busy and it's worth it.
What is the biggest difference that you guys find between Airbnbs and hotels?
Well, I think the biggest thing is making it a very home-like place to rest your head at night. So even if you're just passing through, typically I walk into a space and I want to feel that sense of,
Well, the difference between we are here and we have arrived.
right.
That's the difference.
And I always love like that morning cup of coffee, sitting in that chair by like a nice big window, which we have here today. But it's those little things that I love in my own personal home, so I try to carry that through each property. It's fun because there's character also within Airbnbs. I know that I personally try to add that touch of warmth, and you know, the paint colors aren't all the same through all the spaces, and it's not the same artwork. Like, it's different and it's fun, and we have different styles. So you gravitate towards a different crowd too.
Do you find that with each Airbnb, you kind of get to try something a little bit newer or a different, you know, feel for it? Like, what's your experience with that?
I've done a lot of renovation projects. He's done a lot of renovation projects. In our first couple of spaces, which are our own, we hustled on Marketplace. It was nothing fancy. It was in good condition. Then he built headboards. I did faux barn board on a wall. We refinished furniture. He built end tables. So we really try to construct from basically the ground up, depending on the budget too. So, yeah.
It's going to be a brand new space.
So it'll be an exciting flip once it's all done.
We return to Exploring Fredericton Homes. I'm Elisa Brosey.
I'm Bailey Lockard.
And I'm Chris Turner. In the final part of the episode, we're going to realize that size isn't everything when it comes to Airbnbs.
We're going to take you for a tour of a very small unit. All right, Amanda, can you tell me where we are with this Airbnb?
We are in my backyard in Douglas.
All right, Amanda, can you tell us a bit about your camper you have here behind you?
Sure, it's a 1973 Glenelg by Glendale, and it's 14 feet long.
When you get guests here, can you tell me what the amenities are around us?
Sure, yeah, we're in my backyard in Douglas, New Brunswick, and for a night stay, they get the ability to use the fire pit right here, and there's mini lights, there's power, there's a bathroom inside, and they can also use my pool if they like. Yeah, and pets are allowed.
So to my understanding, this is a really busy spot during the pandemic. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah, it's pretty secluded, so anyone who wanted to stay away from other people and just be in their little family bubble, this was a great spot for them to do that. So it was quite popular. I thought it would go the other way, but it didn't.
Would you like to take me inside just to show me around a little bit?
Yes.
Great.
I offer a toaster, and there's a toaster oven. And then as well, in the other cupboard, there's all kinds of plates and dishes and things like that.
I see this is all very well put together. Who decorated it?
I did. So when I first got it, it needed new flooring, new cabinetry, pretty much new everything. So I went and picked out a few things. We did the solid bamboo for the countertop and the table, and then the little back piece along there. I found the vintage fabric and a watercolor and had those locally made. Everything's been redone. This is a replica fridge. There's a little washroom here. It's got a little toilet, and the toilet paper's hanging on the wall, and a fancy little hanger. Put down the floor that kind of looked like bamboo, but it's linoleum just so it's easy to clean. And all the cabinets are new and replaced. And pretty much everything, all the wiring.
Okay, Amanda, and where did you find this camper?
I saw it on Marketplace one day for not very much, and I thought, maybe I could do something with that. And I wasn't thinking Airbnb at the time. I was just thinking, you know, take kids camping or whatever, because I grew up camping. So went and had a look at it and hauled it away that day.
That's amazing. And then did you ever think it would lead to this?
Never.
No?
No.
And you're pretty happy with it all?
Yeah, and I kind of spent so much money on the renovations, I thought it owes me now, so I started Airbnb-ing it. I offer coffee, so got this cup at a time here, and there's also a carbon monoxide reader, which is one of the extra things that some Airbnb owners offer just in case, because you never know what somebody's going to do in an enclosed space, so I just thought that could be added for safety.
And how long have you had this business?
I've had a few Airbnbs. I have 3 for 4 years, and this one I just started last year, and I had 75 reservations.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And where are most of your people coming from?
So a lot of people came from Montreal and Ontario and those areas to get their passports. Actually, last year was the most common. And some people were local and they just wanted to go camping with their family, and it's kind of easy because you just show up with your food and then you camp.
As an entrepreneur, I know that you do this part-time. Would you ever consider doing it full-time?
Well, it is definitely a good side income, but I am a real estate agent first, realtor, so that's what I would continue to do, as well as this on the side.
So you'd never fully just jump in, you just enjoy doing it?
I don't think so. I mean, I could, acquire another 1 or 2, but it is a lot of work, and I do really enjoy real estate, so I think I'd stick with real estate mainly, and then have this on the side.
Are you the one that does the maintenance and cleaning around here?
Well, this one I do, and it doesn't take long to clean. I just take the sheets and things like that, and wash all the blankets and bring them back down. It's a little space, so this one's easy. Now I have a 4-bedroom house on the other side of the river, and I do have a cleaner for that. And I have a camp on the Texas River, and my neighbor actually does the cleaning for me there, so that works out really well.
So how did this company start? I understand that you go under Rental Hunters.
Rental Hunter, yeah.
Yeah.
I started it quite a few years ago when I realized I was finding tenants for my clients for their multi-units because they just didn't have time, and I knew a lot of people, so I would find them tenants and I'd just do it for free, and I thought, well, maybe there's a business in this, so I just developed a name and thought, why not?
Has anyone caused any damage to any of your properties?
It's happened one time, and that's when I went off of Airbnb and let somebody rent it without going through the system, and it was someone that someone knew. So I thought, well, it's a little bit secure. They know them, they trust them, but no, it didn't work out, so I don't do that.
So you have internet access here?
Yeah, so I leave the password on a hanging plaque just so it's easy for people to see. I do put it in their check-in information as well, so they do have it twice, but I find it's nice just to have it hanging up so that they can see it right away when they come in, because some people are still working while they're here, They travel with their jobs.
So how was your business throughout the pandemic?
Really good, actually. There were a lot of people that needed to isolate, a lot of doctors and nurses and people like that who were in the healthcare profession that needed to self-isolate, or somewhere to self-isolate after work where they weren't in contact with anyone else or their families. So it was quite busy.
You were a super host. Can you tell me a little bit about what that means?
Sure, you have to have a certain number of stays in your Airbnbs, and you have to have a certain level of review. So almost 5 stars, very close, basically. So I'm a super host several times over now.
Have you ever considered on getting more little trailers like this or any other Airbnbs?
I did, but I didn't want to pack it too much down here. I have other people bring their trailers down here and campers, but I wouldn't want it to look too full or take away people's privacy, because right now it's quite private. They're looking out at the woods, and they have their own fire pit and barbecue and things like that. Yeah. Generally it's a night or 2 nights. It's the usual anyway.
With doing that, do you find that you renting this out has reimbursed you on gutting this whole trailer?
Oh yes. Yeah. So far I've made money back, so that's great.
That's awesome.